The Egyptian Book of the Dead is an ancient Egyptian funerary text, officially known as the Book of Coming Forth by Day. It's a collection of spells, hymns, and rituals meant to help the deceased navigate the afterlife and reach the field of reeds, a paradise where the soul could live in eternal peace and happiness. The text includes instructions for protecting the soul from dangers in the underworld, assisting it in overcoming obstacles, and guiding it through the judgment of Osiris, the god of the afterlife. The book wasn't a single standardized document, but a compilation of texts that evolved over centuries. Scribes would customize these texts for individuals, and versions of the Book of the Dead were often buried with the deceased in tombs, typically written on papyrus and placed with the body as part of the burial goods. The most famous example is the Papyrus of Ani, which contains 200+ spells and is highly illustrated with scenes depicting the soul's journey.
The Egyptian Book of the Dead includes several eerie and haunting elements, many of which reflect the Egyptians' intricate beliefs about the dangers of the afterlife. Here are 5 particularly eerie aspects. 1. The weighing of the heart ceremony. In this iconic scene, the deceased's heart is weighed against the feather of Ma'at, representing truth and justice. If the heart is too heavy with sin, it's devoured by Amit, a terrifying creature part lion, part hippopotamus, and part crocodile. This second death meant eternal obliteration, a fate that Egyptians found horrifying. 2. The Lake of Fire. The Lake of Fire appears as a blazing inferno in the underworld. Souls who are deemed unworthy may face this fiery lake, symbolic of destruction and purification. In this scene, even the gods are depicted as cautious around the lake's perilous flames, which adds a profound sense of danger. 3. The terrifying Devourer spirits. Throughout the Book of the Dead, the deceased encounters numerous malevolent spirits, often described as devourers or eaters of souls. These spirits wait to attack or devour any soul that strays from the righteous path. Some are depicted with grotesque, animalistic features intended to invoke dread and caution. The 7 gates and their deadly guardians. The deceased must pass through 7 gates, each guarded by powerful, monstrous beings with strange names like He Who Lives on Snakes. These guardians interrogate the soul, demanding specific answers, passwords, or even magical items to proceed. Failure at any gate could mean eternal imprisonment. The spell for transforming into animals. The Book of the Dead contains spells that allow the deceased to transform into various animals to survive and evade danger. Some of these transformations are disturbing, like turning into a snake to crawl through dangerous areas or into a vulture to feast on death. This power symbolizes survival in the afterlife, but the idea of becoming these animals to ward off threats adds an eerie, primal aspect to the journey. These elements reflect the Egyptians' deep concern with the perils awaiting in the afterlife and their need for rituals and spells to overcome them. The Book of the Dead served as a kind of survival guide for souls navigating this mysterious, often terrifying realm.
According to the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the soul's journey begins immediately after death and follows a path through the underworld, Duat, toward eternal peace in the field of reeds. The journey is filled with trials, challenges, and judgments, each intended to test the soul's purity and moral worth. Having proven its worth, the soul reaches the field of reeds, a paradise mirroring an idealized Egypt, filled with lush fields and flowing water, where loved ones await. In this paradise, the soul can live in eternal peace, reaping the rewards of a life well lived. Here, it is free from earthly concerns, eternally sustained by the forces of Ma'at and the favor of the gods. The journey reflects a progression from earthly life to spiritual purification, and finally, to a harmonious existence emphasizing moral integrity, eternal strength, and alignment with divine order as essential for reaching peace. The structure and voice of the spells create a dynamic ritualistic dialogue between the deceased and the forces of the afterlife. They are written to empower the soul, protect it from threats, and affirm its rightful place in the divine order, aiming for a smooth journey toward eternal peace. The spells in the Egyptian Book of the Dead closely resemble affirmations in their use of language to shape the soul's psychological and spiritual state, and to help it navigate and organize experience. Like affirmations, these spells serve to reinforce the deceased's identity, strength, and resilience in the face of the unknown. Many spells involve self-affirmations that declare purity, divine association, or worthiness. Just as modern affirmations might focus on reinforcing one's self-esteem or confidence, these declarations were meant to help the deceased feel and project a sense of righteousness and strength, essential for confronting the judgments and challenges in the duat. By repeatedly affirming "I am pure," or identifying with gods like Osiris, the soul could reinforce a resilient self-image, building the confidence needed to journey successfully. The spells frequently include commanding language that grants the deceased power over obstacles, spirits, and even their own form. This is akin to affirmations that empower individuals to take control of their lives or shift their mindset, enabling them to face fears and uncertainties. By asserting mastery over the spiritual realm, the soul reclaims a sense of agency, a crucial psychological tool when confronting the chaotic and unknown afterlife. Just as affirmations can help redirect fearful thoughts into constructive intentions, these spells guide the soul in overcoming anxieties about judgment or destruction. By reciting specific phrases or invoking divine protection, the deceased is not merely protected from harm, but also reassured, transforming fear into a focused commitment to reach the afterlife peacefully. This reframing allows the deceased to move forward without paralyzing fear, similar to how affirmations can shift a person's mental focus toward confidence and calm. Each spell in the Book of the Dead provides the deceased with a mental and spiritual map of what to expect and how to respond at each stage of the journey. This guidance acts as a cognitive framework. By naming the dangers and declaring specific protections, the spells help the soul make sense of the afterlife, imposing a sense of order on what might otherwise be overwhelming and chaotic. In essence, these spells operate on both psychological and spiritual levels, offering the deceased not only magical protections, but also a reinforced mindset and sense of purpose. They highlight the ancient understanding of language as a tool to shape inner experience and project strength into the world, paralleling how modern affirmations aim to empower individuals to navigate life's own spiritual and psychological challenges.
The Book of the Dead, seen symbolically, can be a guide to navigating life's challenges, the emotional and psychological transitions we go through as we strive to live a meaningful life. The emphasis on maintaining a light heart suggests the importance of integrity and inner harmony. In modern terms, this can mean living authentically, in line with one's values, and without regrets or hidden burdens. The journey through the underworld, with its daunting trials and monstrous guardians, can be seen as a metaphor for facing inner fears, doubts, and challenges. The text teaches us that personal transformation requires courage and resilience to overcome these gates and confront the darker aspects of ourselves. The concept of the weighing of the heart implies a need for regular self-reflection, asking us to assess our motives and actions. Holding ourselves accountable for our behaviors helps us cultivate self-awareness and make choices that align with a higher purpose or inner harmony. The spells allowing the deceased to transform into animals reflect adaptability and transformation as essential to survival and growth. Embracing change, flexibility, and even reinvention can be powerful tools for overcoming life's obstacles, staying resilient, and moving toward our goals. By aligning ourselves with something beyond immediate desires, whether through meaningful work, relationships, or personal growth, we can bring greater harmony and purpose into our lives, finding peace in a world of uncertainty.
All right, guys, congratulations. I want to thank you both for this collab. It was awesome.
Listen, it was fun, but when beers?
Okay, my treat then.
It is your turn, my brother in Christ. And to think when we started, this topic was so creepy.
And we were concerned about summoning some literal ancient spirit or something.
And
yet what? The whole thing ended up being just good life advice.
Well, I suppose that's
nothing
right.
weird.
Either way.
Gentlemen,
who are you?
Shall we go and get the celebratory beverages now? Indulge me a little while. I have much to show you. Irit tawi nesut, biti ne jeru her where.